America first. Donald Trump says that's his foreign policy in a nutshell. The frontrunner telling the New York Times, quote, "I'm not an isolationist, but I am America first. We have been disrespected, mocked, and ripped off for many, many years by people that were smarter, shrewder, tougher." Trump says other world leaders are taking advantage of the U.S., adding, as president, he would consider withdrawing troops from certain nations unless other world leaders pulled their weight. So, is this a sound policy? Let's ask the former Deputy Commanding General of U.S. forces in Afghanistan, Brigadier General Anthony Tata, who is also the author of the upcoming book, 3 Minutes to Midnight. General, thanks for joining us this morning.
Great to be here, Pete. Thank you.
Absolutely. So you've been on the front lines of our foreign policy. America first, the way he's articulated it, do you think that's the right approach for America's foreign policy?
Yeah, I do, Pete. And I think you have to look at it with the background that Obama has created in mind. And so we have a president that sort of employs what I call the NFL draft method of foreign policy, where the strongest teams or countries should be diluted in power by having the last pick, and the weakest teams or countries should have enhanced power by having the first pick. And so that's why you see Obama do things such as elevate Iran in status where they're not a nuclear power, but he treats them as a nuclear power, and he compares them to Russia that has thousands of nuclear weapons, and he cuts this really bogus bad deal giving $100 billion to Iran to then have support terrorism all around the world. And then you see him do things like not make a statement yesterday about the attack on the Christians by the Taliban. I mean, that's unconscionable to me. And the leader of the free world. And then you see things like with Belgium, he goes to a baseball game, and with Paris, he never goes there, and he has not invoked Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty that says, you know, attack against one is attack against all NATO nations. And so Trump is pivoting off of that, and he is saying we're not going to dilute American power. And in the geopolitical world, he is doing what's called the rational actor theory, where the rational actor goes after supporting and having the nation's self-interest first and foremost. And that's what Trump is talking about.
But General, Donald Trump, short of declaring Article 5, has, of course, questioned the need for NATO altogether. Critics have been ferocious about this America First approach. First of all, its historical connotation is to an anti-war group that tried to keep America out of World War II. Even his, not just Democrats, but his Republican opponents have come after him on this. Take a listen to what Ted Cruz had to say. I want to get you to react.
Sure.
Particularly on foreign policy. Donald is out of his depth. He doesn't know, he doesn't understand these issues. Abandoning Europe, withdrawing from the most successful military alliance of modern times makes no sense at all. If Donald were president, he actually did what he said he would do, withdraw from NATO, it would hand a massive victory to Putin, a massive victory to ISIS. ISIS would be dancing in the street at the weakness and isolationism of Donald Trump.
Cruz says Putin would win a victory, and ISIS would be dancing in the streets to the isolationism. Strong words. What do you say to that?
Yeah, you know, it's a non sequitur to me. First of all, what Trump is talking about is playing hardball with these collective security arrangements that we've got that have been long-standing. Having been in Afghanistan, worked with NATO, it's very clear that the UK and the US take on the brunt of the fighting, and the rest of the NATO nations are sort of there, but not in full partnership. So Trump's got a good argument there that NATO needs to cowboy up. So, you know, in my mind, Trump has the rational actor where he's acting in our self-interest, U.S. self-interest, as opposed to Obama, who is trying to dilute American power.
Well, General, thanks for your opinion, certainly an informed one, and we will continue this discussion. Donald Trump joining us at 7:30 Eastern Time this morning. General, thanks for joining us.